Greetings and welcome to another episode of the TED in Your Head podcast. I'm your host, Ted Moreno, certified hypnotherapist and high performance coach. I've been doing this for 21 years and we're getting near the end of the year. Maybe you have some goals for 2025. Maybe you need a boost of motivation, greater desire. If so, I can help you. I'll tell you how to get in touch with me at the end of the show. But for now, let's get into today's podcast. Where is the peace? Where's the goodwill? Usually, when my wife asks me what I want for Christmas, I give her the silly answer I always give her. I want peace on earth, goodwill toward men. It's a bit of a smart ass answer because I really don't need or want anything. I suppose I could come up with, sure, a new pair of shoes or a V-neck sweater. But the truth is, I have enough shoes and sweaters. And my wife already does more than enough to make Christmas bright for our family and everyone else without having to go out and get more stuff for me. This year, though, when she asked me, I said the same thing, but this year I meant it. I'm looking around for the peace and goodwill, but it seems hard to find. It's sad to see the level of division, distrust, and anger in our country today, not to mention the strife we see in the world at large. I've noticed a greater level of frustration and anger on the road when I drive, even in myself. More impatience, more honking, more aggressiveness. To stay centered, grounded, and rooted in the present seems to present a greater challenge to those I love, those I work with, and me. When I do go on social media, which is more and more rare these days, the comments are rife with ridicule, condemnation, and attack. Even for the most non-provocative posts, such as, "Do this for a healthy digestion." However, there was a bright spot recently for me, a bit of hope. My daughter sings in a choir in her high school. It's a very good choir, pretty much known all over the state of California. And the high school is lucky to have 5 different choirs with a total of over 200 students. Last weekend, we went to see my daughter perform at the annual Holiday Choir Show at the local performing arts venue. The stage was beautifully decorated, and for the first time, the school was able to provide a wonderful orchestra of professional musicians to accompany the students. What made the biggest impact on me, though, was what the choir director said as he spoke to the audience. He spoke of the amazing opportunity that these kids have to be in a school district that values the arts and music. He related the hard work that the students had put into the show and how proud he was of them. He also told us how, in rehearsals and choir classes, he would discuss with the students the state of the world and the concern they had for it. So the most important message that the students wanted to send in this holiday concert, he said, was peace on earth, goodwill to men. I grew up during the Vietnam War. I was in high school in 1975 when Saigon fell, but I didn't know anything about that. I wasn't aware. I didn't follow the news. I knew very little about the state of world affairs. I was naive and unconcerned. But the high school students on that stage are concerned. They know. With social media and the 24-hour news cycle literally in the palms of their hands, how could they not? My kids have been singing in the school choir since grade school. Their holiday performances always end with the song, "Peace, Peace." If you read the blog post to this podcast, you can click on the link and see them singing it. They're not only singing it, but using American Sign Language, they're signing the words of the song, which go like this: peace, peace, peace on earth, and goodwill to all. This is a time for joy. This is a time for love. Now let us all sing together of peace, peace, peace on earth. Ever since grade school, they've been singing that song about peace. You'd have to be made of pretty stern and unfeeling stuff not to get emotional hearing and watching this. I am not made of such stuff. What I do want to be made of is someone who's part of the solution. If there is to be peace and goodwill on earth, it must begin with me, within my own heart, within our own hearts. If you feel the same way, here's some things we can do, things that I am willing to do. For instance, instead of watching news or video where one political faction is tearing down the other, we can read or watch unbiased, thoughtful analysis of what's happening in our country so that we can understand the historical precedents and perspectives to this current point in our nation's history. We can stay informed and rooted in reality. The election is over. The people have spoken. Whether your team won or lost, I think most of us want the same thing. We want our families to be safe and our freedom to seek health and happiness protected. There will always be haters hating. Let the haters hate, but I truly believe that most people in our country are not haters. Aside from voting, all we can do is hope and pray that the ideals and principles that our country was founded on are maintained and protected. If there is anything else that we can do or say that will make a positive difference, let's have the courage to do so. If a political conversation is happening in front of me that's not respectful, reasonable, or considered, I just walk away. Arguing about politics doesn't change anybody's mind and creates bad will. But let's not distance ourselves from those that we love and care about because they hold a different political opinion. However, I understand that some people may need to separate themselves from those that are toxic and disrespectful. I also decided a long time ago not to engage in political discussions over social media. In fact, my goal is to keep my engagement with all social media at a minimum. I feel that at this point, most social media is part of the problem. And lastly, let's strive to give each other grace. In line at the grocery store, while driving, while talking, while dealing with one another, let's smile more at strangers and reach out more to those who aren't. Let's be mindful and present to when our anger flares, when our frustration threatens to overwhelm us, and when we want to give in to cynicism and resignation. In those moments, difficult as it is sometimes, we can choose hope. We can choose peace and an attitude of goodwill to all. If you need some support being the best you can be, go to tedmoreno.com/contact. Send me an email. I'll get back to you within 48 hours to talk about how we can work together. May you have peace and goodwill in your hearts at this time of the year and always. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. And thanks for watching, listening, and reading. Bye-bye now.